I think
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
straight ahead this evening on Week in Review Fridays. Coming up, Prime Minister Davis earlier this week announced tax relief that will benefit thousands of Bahamian families in the food stores and on their electricity bills. We talk about that this evening. Also coming up this evening, we take a look at that police officer. You know, we kind of go in slow motion on the week that was. Well, the police officer who made news around the world, that's right, he went viral for trying to fleece a tourist. Little did he know, the sunglasses that the tourist was wearing was a camera. We're going to get into that as well. And also the Progressive Liberal Party. Yep. Now we are told next week they will officially do their ratifications, all of the slate for 2026. But again, we question why this slow motion process that has turned so ugly in many instances. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Let's get it started, shall we? Of course, welcome to this Week in Review Friday show. You all are well aware Prime Minister Davis has announced that come April 1st, there will be no VAT on all uncooked food items in grocery stores. Many Bahamian families are anticipating it. In fact, I said earlier this week that families throughout Grand Bahama reached out to this show and talked about how happy they were for the announcement and their anticipation of it. We're going to get this story and then come back and discuss.
The thought
While some viewers are welcoming the announcement, others remain skeptical, questioning both the timing and the potential impact. One viewer writing, quote, "The sad thing is no matter how low the VAT go, the store owner does not decrease the price on groceries." Another taking a political jab saying, quote, "Election close now, expect all kind of promises." On Monday night, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced that government will eliminate value-added tax on all food sold in food stores, effective April 1st. The move marks the latest VAT adjustment under the Davis administration since taking office in 2021. Government first reduced VAT from 12% to 10%, reversing an increase introduced in 2018, then cut the tax on food again from 10% to 5%.
All foods currently at 5% VAT will be VAT-free. Zero VAT on those food items. This will apply to fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, frozen foods, and other groceries. Everything except prepared meals sold hot or ready to eat.
As a part of the administration's broader cost of living relief efforts, the Prime Minister also pointed to energy reform, the addition of new trade partners, and a greater emphasis on homegrown food production. He also shared that government is expanding property tax relief.
Owner-occupied duplexes and triplexes are now eligible for the residential exemption. First-time home owner concessions have been expanded. These are changes which will help more Bahamian families build wealth.
Meanwhile, viewers also raising questions about tax relief for healthcare, with some asking whether VAT will also be removed from medication. One comment reading, quote, "What about medicine?" Another, "Thank you, but also it should be removed from medication. No one acts or chooses to be ill," and removed from insurance. However, Prime Minister Davis made no announcement regarding VAT on medication, but noted that 44,000 Bahamians are currently receiving free medication through the National Prescription Drug Plan.
And we just increased the number of medications which are covered from 72 to 142. We are also expanding eligibility, so soon up to 160,000 Bahamians living with chronic conditions can access essential medicines at no cost.
Now, for much of the Prime Minister's nearly 20-minute speech, he touted on some of the successes of his administration since taking office. Among them, 60 industrial agreements inked, the increase in minimum wage, and also stabilizing the economy post-COVID-19. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, that story certainly had a buzz all Wednesday, and even right now this evening, many people earlier today talked about it and their anticipation of it. Well, my Hot Topics panel, they are not shy on words or opinion, and so we're going to get into it this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines on this Week in Review Fridays. Leslie Miller, Cassius Stewart, and Howard Johnson. Gentlemen, good evening to each of you. Welcome to the show.
Good evening to you. Good evening, colleagues.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. I know I haven't been on the show for the year, but Happy New Year to everyone. I'm wearing my shades because it's going to be a bright future for me, Shanique and Leslie.
Yes,
it's a bright future, so that's why I'm wearing my shades.
Yes, I see, I get it.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues, and good evening to the Bahamas.
Yes, gentlemen, your thoughts of on, and as now that you've had roughly a week, let's say the whole business week then, to digest what the Prime Minister announced on Monday evening, the holiday that observed for majority rule. But your thoughts on exactly what's on the table, the fact that come April 1st, this 10% that was reduced to 5% will now be 0 on not just a certain amount of items that made up the bread basket, but the entire food store that makes up uncooked food.
Well, if I may, I think any relief is better than none. And for those who have not been in the food store, I've been in the food store yesterday. I bought about 10 items, and it come up to about $100 and something. So it's a heavy burden that the Bahamian people got to carry because minimum wage is about $220, $240, and so you go in the food store and you buy a few items, and all your money gone. You ain't paid like how much is it?
$260.
$260.
Yeah, $260.
$260. So you buy 12 items and then $260 gone. And so really and truly it's a relief, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I think we need more relief, not just for the lower income as well, too, for people who work hard as well too. I mean, I think the issue also with the reduction of real property is a good one, but I think it should be on homeowners, people who live in their dwelling home. So you're paying mortgage and paying real property tax. It's a double tax on you. And so, if the government had given relief on that, would have been a really good step in the right direction instead of condominiums or apartments. And so, but I think this is a good step in the right direction when it comes to bringing relief to the people, because a lot of people are hurting in the Bahamas.
Yeah, Shanique, I think that since COVID, we've seen the acceleration in the cost of living, and particularly in inflation, pretty much all across the developed world. So working class people, and pretty much everybody, but working class people in particular, are feeling the brunt of this, especially in the food stores. Sometimes when I talk to relatives, and including my mom, and she's going to the food store down there in Eleuthero and Nassau, and I hear the prices, and I see some of the pictures that my relatives send and say, they're comparing prices with the prices here in Florida. It is they're astronomical what people are paying out of pocket. So this relief, it comes as a welcome time. We know that it's silly season. There's going to be a lot of politics. Online, I'm seeing them saying a lot of stuff. Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do that? They're all the circular political arguments, that cut across both sides. And at the end of the day, we want Bahamians to have relief. And any little bit of relief helps Bahamians who are feeling the pinch at this time.
Ever since COVID costs has gone up at least 20, 30% in the Bahamas, as much as 40%. It's really, there's some key elements at stake here. The cost of freight has almost doubled, except for the big boys. They get a special price. The average Bahamian gets a different price. Yeah. Your little fella, the big guys, say Rupert Robertson, they pay about less than $2,000 for a 40-foot container. If you or me go there, it's $5,000.
$7,000.
That's the discrepancy between the two. All right? There's a whole lot of things the government needs to do. What they did with reducing the 5% would help all behemoths straight across the line, straight across the board. But, you know, you can't live off on a salary of $260 or $270. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
And that is what's so destructive as to what is going on today. A lot of people are so maxed out and so frustrated that it brings on argument. You say you have a couple in the house, or a girlfriend, a boyfriend, they have a child, and if one person isn't working, that load is going to be so heavy for that one individual that they simply can't take it. We have to find other ideas and ways to decrease the burden of the average Bahamian. I read the papers this week that one of the problems that we're facing now is that the middle class is being downgraded to a certain extent. Because the whole effort of government really is to upgrade the lower class to the middle class. You know, and with the cost of living now, it's just horrendous. And you saw what happened all over the world after COVID. All of the companies in the world, all of the distributors made a killing. They have never made so much money in their lives. And they made it at the expense of the average consumer all around the world.
And they kind of kept those prices hovering right
They're
there.
never going to change them.
Yeah.
They don't reduce the price.
They're never going to do it.
Like as you was talking about shipping, you know, I mean, I do a lot of shipping.
Yeah, man.
I do a lot of shipping.
They
out of
kill
China.
you.
So I'll tell you, I ordered a 20-foot container out of China. It cost me $7,000 to ship that from China to Nassau.
Yeah.
But I ordered a container from Miami
Yeah.
to Eleuthera.
Yeah.
From Miami to Eleuthera costs the same amount as
You
from
figured
China
it.
to the Bahamas.
Huh?
You figure.
It's a rip-off.
And so what's really happening is that the government needs to say, listen, y'all, if y'all want
Yes.
license to operate in this
Yes.
jurisdiction,
Yes.
y'all bring those costs
Yes.
down because
Yes.
there's no way.
No way.
I got to
No
pay the same
justification.
thing. From China, it's
Yeah.
7,000.
Huh?
From Miami to
Huh?
Eleuthera,
Same thing.
7,000.
Can't be
Same
right.
thing.
Don't make no sense.
It's a rip-off.
And so, you know, we feel in the burden, and
graceful,
that's
man.
why the reason why the cost of living on the family islands is so high is not because they want it
That's
to
right.
be, it's because the shipping companies
must, yeah.
and the
Like his
government,
mother food when she go to the grocery
the
store.
government can say, listen, if y'all want to ship to the Bahamas,
Okay?
bring them costs down.
It's unfair.
Else, y'all, we
Unfair.
can find someone
Totally
else.
unfair.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that many times during COVID and after, about the shipping, about how shipping just
And it's
escalated.
also time we dismantle the damn port.
Say that again,
The
Leslie.
dismantle them.
I agree with you.
And if you don't go to Privy Council, we'll win.
Yeah.
Because Privy Council is the best interest of the country. That's what you should do.
Yes.
It is a disgrace what happened, and we need to now take a look at it. Say, gentlemen, it ain't gonna happen no more.
Yeah. But they take advantage of
It
us.
can happen.
I tell you, from Miami to Nassau,
Yeah.
it's
Under
7,000.
disgrace.
From
Yeah.
China
That's
to Nassau, it's
Yeah,
7,000.
it's-
How does that work?
Please.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay?
Gentlemen, I want to ask you all your thoughts too. Many people are applauding this. Again, like you said, Cassius, any relief. And so let's talk about electricity bills. And Howard, I know you and I many times discuss, my nephew as well, we discuss, and other people in other parts of the United States, about the fact that electricity, first of all, is an issue across the board. Grids have been allowed to kind of just be stagnant, and now everybody is playing catch up, and electricity bills are increasing. And so what the Prime Minister said, all electricity bills at $400, I imagine residential, at $400 and under, will be zero VAT.
Well, for me, it ain't just a VAT. I mean, for me, everybody who knows me
The
knows.
cost of electricity.
I've been moving a lot last year, right? And I've been home probably a couple of days. But my light bill is the same much as if I've been there. So it's as if, you know, if I shut off all my breakers for a month
Yeah.
and come back, I still could pay $400, $500, $600.
Yeah.
So it ain't just a VAT. It's them making
It's
sure that they,
those surcharges,
The
you know.
cost per kilowatt hour.
or they decided to look at
Okay.
yours and say, you know what, Shanique need to pay
Yeah,
this.
yeah, you
Yes.
need to pay that. That's
You
where
know?
that's where you are.
So
Yeah.
we got to get it right. But the problem is, see, in the Bahamas, we don't really sue. And if lawsuits used to come out against BBL, like how they want to have lawsuit against PMH for that
Yeah,
debt,
yeah.
right? People would get it right. But they know ain't nobody can do nothing. There's no relief for us as consumers. But how could you charge me? I mean, they charge me the same amount for the whole month, and I ain't been home for the whole month. Nobody there.
Yeah.
All the children off to school, nobody
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
And I've been paying the same thing, for $600, and water's the same thing. It's like they just walk past yours and say, you know what?
Yeah,
Him.
That's a
Give him
two-story
$400.
house.
That
Yeah.
two-story house you get there, I can hit you.
Put him back to the road.
Just guessing on people's
Send him
bills.
back to the road.
Just guessing.
But
Howard,
this year's year for get out the ghetto. We
getting
get out the ghetto this
on the
year.
ghetto.
Yeah.
No,
Get
that's
on the
what we're
ghetto,
doing
they
now.
trying to keep us in the groove.
Yeah,
We
man.
moving on up. You know what I mean?
Take me back to McCullough
Howard,
Corner, you know?
Howard, your thoughts on that announcement, and I want you to, if we can, we have a little wiggle room, not too long, But just
Yeah.
if we can understand what electricity looks like on the billing rather, in
People in
Florida, for
complaining
example.
too, don't fool
Yes, they are
yourself.
complaining.
They
Yeah.
are complaining.
Yeah.
So,
They complaining.
yeah, I mean, again, welcome relief. I mean, anything that keeps money in the pockets of Bahamians that allows it to become discretionary to be used in other areas, I'm all for that. Here in the state of Florida, too, in the last year or two,
Yeah.
in some of these small municipalities, in some of the local cities, right? There has been a push. A lot of these city councils are now coming under pressure from some of the energy companies and the electricity companies saying, hey, we need to modernize the grid. We need to improve generation and everything. And so we're going to have to pass on some of these costs to our customers. And they've been having meetings at City Hall. I've been watching,
fighting back.
and people, and I mean residents are going out there during the time where they can speak and outraged. Now, I have one of my bills here. I fall under TECO, which is the Tampa Electric Company, right? And Shanique, I mean, when I look at my bill has gone from, in the last 2 years, my bill has gone from under $100 to an average of $225.
That is a jump for y'all.
Under $100
justify that?
That's a
in
jump for them.
2023.
100% jump, man.
So
I would
listen
love
to
that.
this. So let me tell you some of the basic charges outside of the electric service costs. I'm going to read them off for you. The energy charge, $87.72.
What?
The fuel charge, $29.92. Storm protection charge, $7.10. Clean energy transition mechanism, $3.99. Storm surcharge, $19.61. Listen, three more. Florida gross receipt tax, $4.16. Franchise fee, $10.89, and municipal public service tax, $15.32. That's everything in addition to the electricity cost.
So you see,
That's a lot.
so you see.
But I still would welcome that.
But no, of course, but it's relative, right?
Yeah,
but
it's
for
relative.
them who are used to paying, and Howard also
see the hard
talk
ones?
about the fact that you're having sort of now recurring blackouts.
Of course. Yes.
So it's energy
That's
is an
unheard of.
issue.
You all having blackouts?
The U.S. is having
we're now
blackouts.
having blackouts. They don't last very. I mean, we're talking about the most you would look at the electricity going off, Leslie, would be somebody has a bad accident out on the main road or something. They hit a pole and
that's
blow a
what it's about
transformer.
from BC.
You're looking at 15, 20 minutes and the electricity off. But now we're having rolling blackouts. The electricity is going off
Some of our boys
for
are
an
better.
hour, 2 hours at a time.
Right up there, right up
They
there.
don't touch-
2 hours.
they don't-
2 hours. That's unheard of in the U.S. 2 hours at a time. Listen,
That's incredible.
We are just getting started here on Beyond the Headlines. It's Week in Review Fridays. Pull up a chair because when we come back, we're going to be talking about some other things. How about that police officer, y'all? Say, what you gonna do? Just real stupid.
Don't make it too
right?
obvious, Shanique. Don't make it too obvious.
Don't make it too obvious. Just because the guy in the khaki.
can
We'll
dump it.
Don't make it
catch
too
you.
obvious.
Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
But hold on. They staged that for him then. They set it up.
It's a Holy Frosty Christmas, and Wendy's and Coke is bringing the chill. This year, when you upgrade any Wendy's combo to a large, you can instantly win big with the Upgrade and Win Christmas giveaway. We're talking travel gift cards, gadgets, holiday treats, and prizes that make your Holy Frosty Christmas shine. Just upgrade your favorite lunch combo, scan the QR code on your receipt to enter, and let the holiday magic begin. Enjoy great tasting food and win big this Christmas with Wendy's and Coca-Cola's Upgrade and Win. Rules and restrictions apply.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711 and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
January means business. spice it up with what we got.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila. Like...
I win. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Week in Review Fridays. Listen, let's just keep this moving right along, shall we? Certainly something that went viral for all the wrong reasons. We are used here in the Bahamas to getting pulled over. And contrary to popular opinion, Americans, no, not every police officer asks for a little blah. You know what I mean? Like, give me a little something and I'll let you go. But I imagine many do, or some do, because that is what happened when a tourist who was on a cruise ship but decided to just, tour a bit of Nassau during the layover, he encountered this police officer. Take a look.
Viral traffic stop video posted by an American tourist. New attention is being paid to what is actually heard in the footage, what appears to capture an officer discussing an off-the-books arrangement to avoid a ticket. The video, which has gained widespread attention on TikTok, shows the tourist being stopped while operating a rental scooter, which he claims he purchased near the cruise port. The officer, identified by badge number 4438, is heard pointing to what he describes as damage to the front of the scooter.
What was the option again? Yeah.
I don't want to have to travel. I don't mind giving you a break or something or whatever. In case you I don't let me know. Can't be all there.
Moments later, the officer is heard suggesting that any exchange should not be too noticeable, directing the tourist away from other officers.
Shouldn't too much people around. I don't people wash in the coffee. Go order for you.
The tourist is also seen briefly speaking with a second officer, identified by badge number 4718, before the video cuts back to the first officer, who appears to continue the discussion. When the tourist says he doesn't have much cash, he's heard explaining that he was warned.
That's and then I got go from there.
I ain't bring no cash out on me like that because somebody called me and said it'd be crazy out here.
In a statement, police say the alleged conduct in the video does not reflect the standards of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and confirm that an internal investigation is now underway. Under Bahamian law, soliciting or accepting a bribe in connection with official duties is a criminal offense, meaning an officer could face both disciplinary action and possible criminal charges if the allegations are sustained. Police have not said whether the officer remains on active duty, and it is also unclear whether any money was actually exchanged. Eyewitness News has reached out to the police commissioner and the Minister of National Security for further comment, but had not received a response up to news time. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it. Of course, we are here discussing exactly how he was taped. And as we said earlier this week, by the gentleman's sunglasses. Fully done, I say. Just absolutely fully done. I want to welcome back, of course, Leslie Miller, Cassius Stewart, Howard Johnson. Gentlemen, this went viral for all sorts of reasons this week. Many people made so many jokes about it. But you know what? I mean, you couldn't run from it. You couldn't deny it. Nothing. It just showed that officer in such a poor light. And obviously, this is something that he has done many times, eh? Allegedly. Jump in quickly, y'all.
Well, you know, like the statement says, the police office, the police force department must be held at the highest standard, because they are the white blood cells of the body. And if they go awry, then the whole body is in trouble. And so we have to make sure that anytime there's a white blood cell that is acting abnormal, we got to take it out and extract it. But we need to constantly, as an organization, the Royal Bank, constantly train our officers, because there'll always be cracks in the wall, and you got to always repair those cracks. So you need to put on constant seminars of teaching them what not to do, what you should not do. You got to be held at the highest standard in our country. And so, you know, that's sad. It's an indictment on all of us as a people, because when they see that, they don't see just him, they see the whole nation.
And that's what they did, Cassius. They went and said, look at the Bahamas. That's how they all go.
And so that's why I'm hard on politicians who are corrupt. I'm hard on police officers who are corrupt, because it's not them. They represent the nation. And so when a politician is indicted, when a police officer is indicted, the whole country is indicted. And that's why when I speak and I lambaste them, it's because we gotta get it together. For the next generation of leaders, you cannot keep making the same mistakes. For the next generation of police officers, you cannot be making the same mistakes. You got to be held above board. And this is why discipline, punishment needs to be, I guess, explained to them that, listen, if you violate the law, you can get it first, and you can get it harsh.
Yeah, Shanique, when I, excuse me, when I looked at this young man's countenance and his demeanor at the beginning of the video, I said to myself, this young man does not want to be a police officer. He's going to do something stupid, and his days are numbered on the force. And I mean, just looking at him, that young man was not happy being a police officer. And right now, with that investigation going on, I believe that the outcome is going to land him in some serious trouble and without employment. But the thing about it is, to agree with Cassius, it casts us in that light, and it makes us look like, you know, the proverbial banana republic. And all of us get the blame and the aspersions that come with that negative connotation.
Howard, you and Cassius are absolutely right, because if you saw this online, you would see what the Americans were saying. And I mean, it was vexing to read their comments.
Yes, and then when you couple that with the several instances of police officers recently being indicted for drug offenses and getting ready to be sentenced, you know, it sends a very bad message about law enforcement in our country. Those who are supposed to protect and serve and be held to the highest standard of obeying the law, like Cassius has said, it really is troubling. And then, you know, looking at Commissioner Knowles, you know, my fellow Lutheran, I know her very well. She's a good friend of my mom's. She has a very big task ahead of her. I hope that this triggers a massive retraining exercise in several important areas in policing for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And it's a teachable moment for law enforcement in general in the Bahamas.
You know, it really saddens me that 2 young police officers are now going to have their entire career in law enforcement done with. And also to give us a bad name again among persons around the world, especially the United States, our closest neighbor. That this is how policemen of color act towards tourists that come to the Bahamas. Play these sort of games, these gimmick games to get a couple of dollars. I mean, it's a sad state, because I feel for them, but at the same time, I'm angry with them. I feel for them because their future is now tarnished, and they're unlikely to get any meaningful employment in this country, probably for the rest 10, 15, 20 years. You know, and that's sad, because they may have children. I'm sure they have parents, they have brothers and sisters. They're going to say, look what happened to my brother. Then at the same token, you say, why my brother would have shamed me like that? And that's how most people feel. It's just a tragedy, really. I don't even want to discuss it no further.
Okay, let's just move forward, gentlemen. But again, it's just really a slap in the face. I mean, fully done comes to mind. Go and look it up. Go look up the term and see what that means. It's a Jamaican term. Look it up. Quite frankly. Listen, gentlemen, though, let's shift to politics now. This week also had its very interesting moments politically. We saw Michael play out. I think it was yesterday. There was a release of a statement by Robert Caron, the aspirant there, that he is pulled out of the race. And of course, the residents of Michael, of all over, whatever their political affiliation, are really disappointed with that, his decision to do that. And then we saw last evening Southern Shores, also quite interesting and also quite combative between the leading aspirants about just securing the PLP nomination in Southern Shores. Gentlemen, as I said before, when this kind of sort of just whatever this is, was ugliness was playing out in the F&M, why were they dragging their feet with this? And now the PLP finds itself at the top of a new year with this stuff unresolved. Now, I must say that ratifications, as it has been announced, ratifications will happen for the Progressive Liberal Party across the board next Thursday. But just the fact that all of this had to happen with all this bad blood in various constituencies was so unnecessary. Jump in, Cassius, quick.
I want Leslie to start first.
No, go ahead.
You put this one on me, Leslie. All right, well, there's always tension between the leadership and the constituencies. And so I think sometimes the leadership of political organizations get too confused and thinking that, you don't listen to the constituency. The constituency is where the action goes down. Those are the people who got to work for you. Those are the people who got to vote for you. And if you don't listen to what the constituency is saying, normally you'll get the repercussions, normally. Sometimes the constituencies then fall back in line with the leadership and everything is harmonic. But most of the times, though, we see that there's a struggle between the leadership and the constituencies, and I think you may have that with Michael. I'm not sure all the circumstances surrounding that. In terms of what's going on the Southern Shores, you got two players, one wants it, one wants it. It all boils down to what the association wants. And so, these associations are elected for reasons because they perhaps understand the heartbeat of what the wider community wants. And if the wider community wants candidate A, but the party wants candidate B, who do you listen to? And this is where they always have that friction. I think, constituency association are disrespected in most political parties and not given the power that they need. And this is the reason why you have that friction. But, like I said, if may the best man win, everybody, I guess, plead their case and you listen to what they got to say and, who you think can add value to the party, to the constituency, to the community, then give them the nomination. Otherwise, tell them to sit down.
Yeah, well, Shanique, in Southern Shores, to start with, in Southern Shores, with Clint and Obi, this thing is really, really, really playing out. And there's tremendous emotion on both sides. With it getting close to the 11th hour before the election, so to speak, coming up here in months, basically. It makes me wonder from seeing the stuff that's online and in the mainstream media, are they going to choose the candidate if it's going to be either one of those gentlemen, Mr. Watson or Mr. Roberts? And will it be enough time for that healing process to really play out and to have everyone sing the Kumbaya song and get on the ground to help
they get in line
that candidate to close
the
gap that Denley Penn Mackey now has. So that's the question. The question is,
see the big belly? How much they can see that get?
Yeah.
The question is, are they going to be able? Is that eventual candidate going to be able to close what I believe is an advantage gap that favors Denley Penn Mackey at this time? And as far as Mr. Karen is concerned, once again to say, Mr. Karen, the $400+ million backswing contract was signed before he expressed interest.
Yep.
And this is the issue I have with political parties, the major political parties. Some of these things can be avoided, and if this is a problem, if this was a problem from the beginning, I mean, you have to foreshadow. You have to be prepared for these things. You are a major political party wanting to be the government or wanting to remain the government. You should have a plan for things like this to not happen, to embarrass you at such a late hour. Mr. Karen's contract was already signed. Why let him become an aspirant? Write in a letter to express interest. Begin canvassing on the ground in that constituency, all of the islands, and then to go through the process all up to the way to an interview with the party. And then he writes this letter. So it tells me that some pressure was brought to bear on Mr. Karen because he didn't just wake up one morning and say, I believe this is going to be a conflict of interest. He had some pressure brought to bear on him for him to write that letter and do what he did to save face for both him and his partner.
But that doesn't stop you from running. Once you declare your interest, because you can have contracts with the government. Once you declare that you have a contract with the government, it allows you to run. It doesn't stop you from running because many people who will be running has contracts with the government.
But
And
Cassius, back in 2018, before we let Leslie jump in, back in 2018, Brent Simonette was the Minister of Financial Services and Immigration and something else. And they had the post office issue. The post office issue, $800,000, almost $1 million a year. And he was a sitting cabinet minister and MP. So I don't understand why this is an issue.
Yeah, because probably 60 to 70% of the people who run and got major contracts with the government. It's okay to have contracts with the government, but once you let the people know that, listen, hey, I have XYZ contract, this contract, that contract, then it's okay for you to run because we need to know. It's called disclosure.
No, first and
But
foremost,
I believe the PLP is going to lose if they don't give him that nomination.
you don't even have 10% of the candidates that have anything to do with government as far as contracts. Most aspiring members of parliament don't have that kind of economic or political clout to have contracts with government. That's
what you're trying to say, bro.
I just said that don't happen. In the real world,
let me tell you,
listen,
I can be the
I was elected in 1987 as a young man of 37. Okay? So I've been through the whole marig with all of them from 87, from 82 actually.
Right.
I don't know what happened to Karen. I mean, I thought he'd been a formidable candidate, but I was always concerned, as well as others, that the contract he had also insinuated that he had a contract with the U.S. government also intertwined in this overflight situation. For whatever reason, he decided it was in his best interest to get out because he said himself, because of his obligations to the company that he represents. With regard to the two aspirants down in Southern Shores, I would think that Clint Watson would be by far the better candidate to represent those people. And as far as you're talking about the fight, there isn't a fight. You got two candidates. Both of them are appealing. One is more appealing, and that's one that probably get the nomination.
Which one is more appealing?
Clint Watson, no if and buts about it. He's by far the better candidate.
So it's in the PLP's best interest
He's
to
affable,
go with Clint Watson.
Very intelligent guy. He has a good plan for the constituency. I've been working with him in there, and people love him. And as far as somebody knowing somebody and all this, half of that area is my old area, Sunset Park, 1 and 3. All of the other area, McKinney Drive and what have you. That's the easy area, and Clint will win. The other fella, I don't think he was really as qualified as Clint to represent the people in that area. That's my opinion. For many reasons, you all saw what went on publicly with him over the last several months with him and his sisters and those, man. Please.
So the rehash would as you say, most of the politicians who are running today ain't got no money, you said?
I said that they don't. You said major government contracts. A fella, a young fella don't have that.
They ain't got no money.
Sort of. No, they don't have it.
No,
I didn't have it. I didn't have it.
This is why I did a video.
I didn't have it.
Some of them may have it though.
Some of them have it, but
Well,
then we need candidates and members of parliament and representatives with a vision. And then once you have that vision, you have resources to back that vision.
Put it this way: one fella got more than what the entire crew could ever dream of getting if they live 10 lifetimes. I accept that. Sorry, my mistake.
Leslie, so there were two.
If they could only give me mine to sort me out, then I'd be good.
So you have to make sure Leslie get the contract.
Leslie, you sort it out. Please stop.
And I'm not a candidate anymore.
Yeah, you sort it out.
So make sure Leslie he's not running, but make sure Leslie gets his contract.
Make sure he sorted out. But listen,
please.
like I said, we need members of parliament who one, have a vision, know the areas they're serving, know the needs of the people, and be able to move those people forward. That's what's needed. Not somebody who just could figure they could run.
All the ingredients to be a good MP.
I reach to the point where I am sick and tired of fillers. People who just
there. And then waiting on the government. The government ain't signed it yet.
You bring nothing to the table. You bring nothing to the parliamentary caucus. You bring nothing to the cabinet. You bring nothing to the government, but you fill in the spot. Then after 5 years, you go and we don't remember your name.
You're talking about the other guy now. You're talking about Clint.
We don't even know you exist.
Because Clint has made a valuable contribution to our country in broadcasting.
This seems about Southern Shores.
Okay,
this
fine.
is generally speaking.
Generally speaking, he has already made a contribution as a very young man.
Leslie,
generally
speaking, across the board.
So you're talking about the other guy who's the filler?
I'm talking
about
no problem.
There are two constituencies we talk about. We talk about Michael, but now there are 41 seats.
I don't know 41
and
seats.
so for those people who feel that they just want to run.
It looked like a woman is going to go in Michael, from what I understand.
Again, fillers.
I'm sick of fillers. We need people who add value. After 5 years, I can't tell you who's a senator.
And you know what? I'll tell you on Tuesday.
I can't tell you now.
On Tuesday,
I can name 3 of them senators.
I'll tell you this.
I'm serious.
They've been Phyllis long time. On
Tuesday,
Tuesday, I had someone from Crooked Island on, and that's exactly what they said. In about 10 years, they have not had representation. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods, taste the difference.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all here. I know that many of you have come to anticipate and look forward to this next segment and my guests. The youth panel is back. Tafari Gibson and Aaron Jones. Gentlemen, Happy New Year to both of you. It's good to see you both. You all have not been here for a minute, and the people have thought that I somehow moved away from the youth panel, but no. These guys have a voice in this next election. They are first-time voters, and they have a good idea of the temperature of what's happening among youth voters and the first-time voters in the Bahamas. And so, good evening once again, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening.
I know that you, and people will be surprised to hear this, but you all did pay attention to the national address in particular, and your grouping also thought it quite interesting with the announcement that was made in terms of the removal of VAT come April 1st of all uncooked food items in food stores. What is it that y'all are thinking, what's being said, and how is the first-time voter thinking they are benefiting from this?
Shanique, we're happy. We know that every policy has a human face. And to see the removal of VAT from unprepared food items is so exciting to our young people. When it was first announced by our Prime Minister Davis on the national address, it was moving through the statuses of our young people. They were making statuses of it? This was going viral. Our young people were excited, even though we know that most young people don't go in the stores these days. Yeah. We were so excited. But Shanique, we know that power reveals character. And to see that the government is aware that something needs to change, and they did do something about that. And even though there is so much more that needs to change, we see that they're trying to make steps. And whoever comes in place, they will now see that, hey, these said tried to make a difference, and we're going to try to do it too.
And Shanique, even furthermore, so I watched the national address live on Facebook. And I chose Facebook because that's the most unfiltered human Bahamians in the comments on the live streams. And even with such a wonderful thing that the government has done, a good policy that is now introduced to relieve the stress of Bahamian pockets, there's still a million complainers about it, right? And something I have to put out to Bahamians, I made a video about this maybe about 3 weeks ago. Something I have to put forward to Bahamians is, you do not need to like a political party to agree with its policy. If the policy is relieving stress from Bahamians, if the policy is taking burden off of Bahamian young people, Bahamian adults, if it's increasing your finances and building our economy, you should be for that. And so I think it's a wonderful thing, whether you're PLP, FNM, COI, or whatever other party you are. I think it's a wonderful thing that's been done to help our economy.
Yes, absolutely, really good.
This is bigger than politics.
This is about people. This is about people. It really is, and households and families who have for now quite a number of years been having difficulty with the inflation. And inflation has hit so many nations, and so again, it's good. And I'm just, I smile when I see what you all pay attention to, because even when we discussed offline, and you all told me, Shanique, no, we have discussed this in our groups. We've seen our peers do the same thing and applaud it. And I'm like, well, you know what? Quite interesting. Y'all don't expect this, but I want to know, at the beginning of 2026, right now, headed months, looking at a general election, it's just that much away. What is the first-time voter, the youth vote? What are their thoughts, their sentiments about where things now stand if we were to do a temperature check on the political organizations?
Shanique, where we are honestly is we're tired of saying the same old. We're tired of saying what our parents complain about. We're tired of saying what happened for years. We want to know, what is the change like? And I've seen so many aspiring candidates and even candidates walking around, and my friends explain, they came to the door and they didn't say anything about my future. They came to the door and they didn't explain what they were going to change. Most things today we see is talking about what another party isn't doing. We want to know, what are you going to do for our future? Some of us can't get scholarships, some of us can't do stuff. What are you doing for us? So many political candidates today are only talking about what someone isn't doing. Can you tell us your plans? Can you tell us what you have in store for us? That's how we feel.
Yeah, Shanika, I think vision is very important.
Yeah.
I think the person that should get the vote of young people, of people, old people, is a person who has vision for where they want to take the constituency and even furthermore the country in, right? So I think the average young person, let me first say our young people are staying very connected and in tune with what's happening. Very, very in tune. If you look on social media and Facebook, they are in chats, they're in comments, they are awakened now, right? And so what I have to say furthermore about that is our young people are paying serious attention. The politics that may have worked in years past, I honestly do not think that it will have an impact this year.
This is what I said, and while they may have an affinity to a certain political organization, I need to share the video I did with you guys. Follow me on social media, by the way. Shanique Miller everywhere. No, I say that because I said, listen, regardless of what they may be in terms of, listen, I'm a staunch this or that, they still want that candidate to make sense coming to their door.
Right.
The candidate has to now have a vision. The candidate cannot be sitting down twiddling their thumbs, looking for the next opportunity themselves. The candidate has to bring along with him or her the opportunity and the funding, and again, leading all of that, the vision to move the constituency and the people of that constituency forward.
Yeah,
And so this is what it is,
This is what it is. Our generation will inherit the consequences. Silence today means chaos tomorrow. I always tell our young people, please be vigilant about what's going on in your country. Learn about it. Try and watch the news. The news sometimes is, you know, as young people, I never wanted to watch the news before I started doing it.
I could tell you.
I found it boring. But when I started to see that what happened today will affect my future, I said, I have to put my foot down. I have to do it even if I don't want to do it.
Yeah. So guys, listen, of course, we will continue to hear these guys and their opinions, their thoughts throughout. I will have them on more frequently because we want to get the youth. And you know what? They have convinced me that they are deserving of a youth temperature check. And so every other week, perhaps, you will see them on doing a temperature check on the constituency that they choose, and obviously giving real, full, non-holds-barred opinions and thoughts and views on each candidate. Tafari Gibson, Aaron Jones, I thank you both very much for being here. Happy New Year once again.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Bahamas. Happy New Year, Bahamas.
Thank you guys. It's good to see you both. Of course, at the top of tonight's show and the last two segments, Leslie Miller, Cassius Stewart, Howard Johnson, a big thank you to those guys as well. And a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in all week long. It's been awesome having you hang out with me. I look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening. Until then, for the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.